Hello, it is time again for me to sit down and make a list of books that I may or may not read. Hi, hello, how are ya? I'm Margaret. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about what I will be reading in the month of April. I have decided that this year is the year that I will be completing the Magical Readathon. I've been doing this since 2018, and I have yet to complete a single semester. We're doing it this year. It's happening. If you haven't heard of the Magical Readathon, I will have the announcement video linked down below in the description. I'll tell you how I do it. I just figure out which career I want to do, and I print out the syllabus and I read books. I don't do any of the other stuff. I haven't even gotten this down. When I get this down, then we can worry about the other things. I'm also going to be doing a TBR Takedownathon that is put on by Jess over at the Hex Library. I will have her announcement video linked down below in the description box as well. You need to read at least one book from your TBR. You are free to define TBR how you like. Here's the deal. Currently, I need 4 shelves to fit my physical TBR. I would like to get that down to 3 because there's a bookshelf that I want to get rid of. I want it to go. My choices are to shrink the TBR or have piles of books around me at all times, and this room is already cramped enough as it is. That was a really long-winded and rambling way to say, hi, hello, let's talk about what I am going to be reading in the month of April. For my career for Magical Readathon, I am trying, yet again, to be a necromancer. To begin my journey of becoming a necromancer, I will need to complete 8 courses. Those courses are Animal Studies, Conjuration, Demonology, Spells and Incantations, Inscription, Lore, Restoration, and Shape-Shifting. So, the prompt for Animal Studies is to read a book with a yellow title. And I have a feeling that like a bunch of y'all watching this video right now, you probably know which book I'm going to pick. I bet, I'm looking, you know, don't you? Go ahead, pause the video. Tell me if you know what book I'm gonna pick. Go ahead. I'm pretty sure the intention of this was for the words to be yellow in the title, but I'm going to read Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. The word yellow is literally in the title. This is a book following it's following one writer. It's following June Hayward, I believe, is our main character, and then there's also Athena Liu, and they were supposed to be like debut buddies together, and then Athena dies. June does Yellowface and passes this book that Athena wrote off as her own. This is very heavily, from what I understand, based on R.F. Kuang's own experience and the racism that she has faced in the publishing industry. This is going to be counting also for a TBR Takedownathon because it's on my library book, TBR. I got it from the library. I need to read it. It's on a TBR for a thing that I am doing that you won't have seen the video because we're not done it yet. It is going to count for 2023 release and then the prompt that says yellow on the cover. I'm trying to black out the bingo board. So here's what it looks like currently, with Yellowface on there. Oh, that means I'm gonna have to do a graphic. I'm so sorry, editing Margaret. After Animal Studies, we also have a Conjuration, and for that one, I need to get a color wheel, which I have right here, and pick a color on the picker wheel, the color picker wheel. Yeah, that's what I put into Google. I need to take that, and I need to choose a book that is the color of that cover. So I am going to put it right up here. You could see it. We're going to hit spin now. Right past purple. Why would you do that to me? Okay, cyan. A book comes immediately to mind, but then this author will be on my TBR twice. I really want to read that book though. Can I use that? Hold on, because we need to keep TBR Takedownathon in mind. All right, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Cyan. We needed to be cyan. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna read The Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. This is a retelling of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. We are following Anna Dakar, and she is the freshman at Harding Pencroft Academy. It is a 5-year high school where the graduates become marine scientists, naval officers. Also, this is going to be counting for TBR Takedownathon. It will be counting for blue on the cover because there's a whole lot of blue. Animal on the cover, and I think that is it. I think that is it. I should put my books back here, shouldn't I? Moving on from Conjuration, we have to do Demonology, where we're studying pacts and contracts. And for that one, I need to read a book that I did not pay for. And for that one, I am going to be turning to my good friend Kindle Unlimited, and I'm going to be reading Forged by Magic by Jenna Wolfhart. I will be 100% honest, I already knew I wanted to read this book because I heard about it like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, I need to read this book. It sounds good. This is about, and I'm not sure if it's Daela or Dela, but she is a half-orc. She's one of the few half-orcs left, and she's currently living in captivity. Oh yeah, captivity. She's trapped in a tower, my dudes. She's trapped there by this emperor, and he's like, hey, I need you to, if you do this thing for me, I will let you go. And so she's like, yeah, I'll do this thing so I can just get out of here. And on the way, she ends up shipwrecked and she gets saved by this hot elf blacksmith dude. And he doesn't seem to like her, but like, stuff happens. It sounds like they're gonna be like reluctant and they're not gonna like each other, and then they're gonna get to know each other, and then they're gonna start to fall in love, and then they're gonna be like, oh no, I'm falling in love with this person, this is awkward, oh, this is gonna conflict with so many things. I'm going to have a very good time reading this book. This book is like pulling its weight, like going to be worth its weight in gold for TBR Takedownathon, because it is covering purple on the cover. It's covering a digital TBR book. It's covering, oh hey, Yellowface also covers book under 500 pages. Anyways, that's a tangent. It's also covering green on the cover because she's a half orc and she's got green skin. Female main character. I don't know about male main character. It might be covering male main character as well. And then also part of a series because it's the first book in a series, like a trilogy I think it is. If I enjoy this book, there's more where that came from. Now that we've signed up for demonology, we also have to sign up for spells and incantations as well. I am going to need to take a random number generator to determine the length of the title, so like how many letters are in the title. I currently have it set between 5 and 30. I haven't done anything yet. This is just what pulled up. Between 5 and 30 for the numbers, and we're going to generate now. It needs to be, oh, let's see, can you see that? It needs to be 18 letters. Couldn't have been an easy number. I need to borrow this. This is technically a reread, but it's going to count for TBR Takedownathon if it counts, because I have to read this to get other books off of my TBR, because I read this and I did not continue on with the series, and it has been so long that I have to read it again, and that is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. So this is about Leah, and she is a princess, and she has been engaged to marry this prince. She doesn't want to marry him. She's like, he's gonna be old and gross, and we're not gonna have anything in common. I'm gonna hate him. And so she's like, you know what I'm gonna do? The reasonable way to deal with this, because there's no way I'm getting out of this marriage, is to run away. So she runs away with her best friend. They set up in a small little village. She's doing great. She's building this little life for herself and being self-sufficient and all of that stuff. And then these two mysterious dudes show up in town. And what she doesn't know is one of them's an assassin, and the other one is the prince that's like, I kind of need to marry this girl. This kind of needs to happen. Things are riding on this. We're in trouble if I don't. I remember really liking it and having a good time with it, and I need to finish the series. So it left off at a really weird place too, like in a bad place, and I don't know why I didn't continue on. Like, I'm not sure why Margaret did that. Why did she do that? Okay, so for TBR Takedownathon, it did fit more prompts than I thought it was going to fit. Kiss of Deception is going to be getting me male main character. There is a male main character. I mean, it counts. We're going to say it counts. Prompt from any readathon, obviously. It's also going to get me a book with more than one point of view. I believe that is everything it's going to get me for now. Moving on, the next thing on my syllabus is Inscription. For that one, you're supposed to write down 3 titles, fold them, and then pick one. I'm going to make that a bit easier on myself, or potentially harder. I'm actually not sure. This could go very badly, considering that this guy has been here since the beginning of my booktube journey. There are books in here that I don't know that I even own anymore. I'm not sure what the 2 pink ones are. I know this was like my Goodreads TBR, I believe, and these are the books that are on my physical TBR. I am going to pull out the green slips of paper until I get 3 that are on my physical TBR, and then we will make a choice between those 3. Let's go ahead. We'll pull out the first slip of paper. Do I still have it? Ironside. Okay, this is book 3 in the series, so we will make this Valiant. I could be okay with that. Mix them up again. We will pick that one. Maybe if I can get them open. Once a King, oh boy, that's an old one. Once a King by Erin Summerall is the other one. And then, there we go, there's that. Okay, let's see, watch this be the one that I don't own anymore. Girl with, okay, I have read this one. That's Girl with a Pearl Earring. Okay, let's pull that out. Ah, okay. 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. Okay, let's go grab the 3 books. All right, so here are our 3 books. We have Once a King by Erin Summerall. This is the 3rd book in the series that is Ever the Hunted, Ever the Brave. I believe this is the last book in the series. Oh wow, this is when book boxes still put the price on the back. Oh wow, like look at that. I still have all of that. I read the first 2 books in the series, wasn't terribly excited by them. Like they were okay, they were a solid 3-star. I read them, they were books, I read them. And I think I might like this one, but I'm also worried that I will not like it. However, it is is it the final book in a, hold on, if it's the final book in a series, this might make the choice for me. It is, okay, that makes the choice for me, but the other 2 books were Valiant by Holly Black. This is the 2nd book in her Modern Fairy series. And then we got 13 Little Blue Envelopes. I believe this is about a girl who died. I don't know. She got 13 envelopes, and in envelope 1, there's $1,000 and instructions to buy a plane ticket. But we don't need to worry about these because we're going to be reading Once a King by Erin Summerall. We're dealing with the king from the first 2 books, and then I think the main character's best friend, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm not entirely sure on that one. Right. Okay. Things are coming back to me. Basically, we're dealing with 2 countries. In this world, there are these women with magic called channelers, and they are persecuted in this world for having, or not in this world, but in his country for having magic. And he wants to change that. And so he's trying to work with a wind channeler who is the friend, I believe a friend, or knows our main character from the first book. He's basically like having to work with this other girl who is a wind channeler, and she should not trust him, but they need to work together for reasons. So this could be something that I really enjoy, and enjoy much more than the first book. Like, it just, like, the first book, like, we had some, not the first, but, like, the first 2 books, like, there was some unnecessary romance stuff in book 2 that I was just like, sir, why? All that Once a King is going to be able to cover at this point, from what I know, is just being the final book in a series, but that was going to be a hard one for me to check off, so I'm glad that we got it, and maybe it'll cover some other stuff. Y'all know how these TBRs work, right? Like, I make a list of books that I'm going to read, and then I promptly decide only to read half of them and read completely different books for the other half. Like, that's how I work. So after that, I don't have to worry about lore because it is a thing that I have to read. It's been interrupted. There's a lore document that G has made that I'll have to read for that. Next thing that I actually have to worry about is restoration, and that is to read a book that I think could cure slumps. This book that I'm going to hold up for you guys, that I'm going to talk about for you guys, it is not a book that I think can cure slumps. It is a book that I know can cure slumps. I know this because way back when in 2009, when I was in a reading slump, I picked this series up, and I remembered that reading was fun again. But the book that we're going to be reading is The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan. This is the 3rd book in the Percy Jackson series. If you have not heard me talk about the Percy Jackson series yet, we are following a little boy named Percy Jackson. Well, he's not a little boy, he's like 12. But like, we're following Percy Jackson, if you hadn't guessed from the title, because it's Percy Jackson and the Olympians. We're following this kid, and he's what you could call a troubled kid, but really what's going on is he has ADHD and dyslexia and all of these other things, and he thinks that's the reason that he's having problems, but the real reason that he's having problems is because he is a demigod. A whole bunch of stuff happens in the first, like, 2 chapters of the book, but he finds that out after losing his mother and being taken away to this camp called Camp Half-Blood, where all of the demigods, the Greek demigods, go to live, and that's where they're supposed to be able to be safe. But while he's there, he finds out that someone has stolen Zeus's Master Bolt, and his dad needs him to go and get it back and to bring it to Zeus so that there is not a war with the gods. This counts for none of the TBR takedown things. I knew this was going to count for nothing from TBR Takedownathon. It is not on my TBR. I just want to read it. Our final prompt for Aurelium is going to be shape-shifting. Shape-shifting sounds a little bit complicated, but like, it makes sense once you think about it. Basically, you have to go to the last book you read that has an author blurb on it, and you read a book from that author. And I am going to be going with P. Jelly Clark, because the last book that I have an author blurb on is Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. And he is on here not once, but twice. And I've been wanting to read The Master of Jinn. Do I know what this book is about? I know it's steampunk-ish? Okay, it's in 1912. We're following Fatma, and she is the youngest woman working for the Ministry of Alchemy. Okay. Oh, alchemy, enchantments, and supernatural entities. So apparently there is a secret brotherhood, and they get murdered. I'm not sure if it's like the whole brotherhood or just like someone from the brotherhood. Whoever it is that committed the murders is claiming to be the guy that started this brotherhood and did all of that magic stuff, and he is wreaking magical havoc on Cairo. And so now she and her girlfriend have to save the world. This is going to fit red on the cover from TBR Takedownathon, and I believe it also fits host favorite from any readathon, because I want to say it was a host fave for at least one of the readathons that I've been in. I will have to double check some graphics. Oh, I don't know that I have access to those graphics anymore. I know this was a host fave on a readathon that I did recently. I don't know which readathon it was. And then I just have to cover a book over 500 pages and any group/buddy read you missed. And so if you were thinking, Margaret, what if you did the most unhinged thing and read like one of the thickest books on your TBR because you've been meaning to read it so you can get caught up and get into the buddy read, you'd be right. Hold on. For those final 2 prompts, I'm gonna read The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. In true Jess from the Hex Library fashion, I am picking the thickest book I can during a month when I'm trying to read as many short books as possible. Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Okay, we're only at like 660. That's a glossary. I don't have to read that, thank God. We are at 657 pages. I read this many, many years ago. By many, many years ago, I think I read this for the 2018 Magical Readathon. I've been meaning to reread this and like actually pay attention because there is somewhere around about here that I lost track. Like I just was not present while I was listening to the book. I was not, my brain, my soul, something left my body. And so I came back to the book and was like, how did we get here? What happened? I need to reread this so that I can do that and then continue on with the series. For a book written in 1990, this was actually pretty decent. I was surprised that it was better than some stuff written in the 2000s. There's still issues, obviously, with like some of the gender essentialism in this and blah, 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 with the magic system, yada, yada, yada. But like for a fantasy novel written in the 90s, I felt like it had a better treatment of women than some fantasy novels that I could name written in the 2000s, that I was reading in the 2000s. I'm very interested to see if that still holds up with me reading it with my eyeballs. And I've got this guy because I want to be able to take notes. I want to be able to like mark this thing up. This is gonna take me for forever to read. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. Yeah, most of the books that I am going to be reading for the month of April, you know, obviously there are 2 that are ebooks. Which one are you most excited to see me get to? Which one are you most excited for my opinion on? What do you want to know what my thoughts on? I can maybe make sure that I do some content surrounding that one. Also, let me know, like, what are you doing in the month of April? Are you also doing Earlium or TBR Takedownathon, or what other readathons are you doing? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoyed this video and you want more thoughts on books that I have read before, especially if you're looking for like fantasy stuff, check up here. I've got a recent reads video with some of my most recent reads. That's how that works because I've read them recently. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we'll talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!